This is Black Video News Special Report. My name is Anthony, and we have the legends, Melle Mel, the Scorpion of the Furious Five. And we welcome you guys to San Antonio.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's an honor being here. You know what I mean?
All right. First off, tell us what y'all got going on nowadays.
I mean, we still doing a little bit of everything, just like how we did back in the days. You know, we do a lot of touring, and you know, we just came out with this new product called the first hip hop pre-workout. You know what I mean? So you know, we just trying to dabble into a lot of different things, just like you know all of the other modern artists that's doing like got their hands in this and that. So that's what we're trying to do. So you know.
Yeah, and it's also the 40th anniversary of The Message, you know, one of the biggest, most important records of the hip-hop 40th anniversary of The Message. So we're doing, you know, putting together the 40th anniversary tour. And like you said, we got the pre-workout, you know what I mean, that'll get you some of these. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Melle Mel, talk more about that, because I be seeing you working out in the park. Talk about fitness.
Yeah, well, I'll be doing my thing. See, I mean, it's very simple. If God gave you something that was really important to you, and you really cared about what he did, you would try your best to hold on to that thing as long as you could possibly hold on to it. So that's what I mean. The first time I ever went in the gym, this was over 30 years ago. Me and Scorpio, he brought me in the gym. He put me onto it. But I studied it, you know, and went to all the shows. You know, I know all the big bodybuilders. I know Ronnie. I know Jay. You know what I mean? I'm related to Dexter Jackson. And it was and we came up with the idea to do a hip hop pre-workout. You know, it was all-purpose energy. Basically, it's not necessarily for bodybuilders or guys that work out. For the average person, you know, if you need a little shot of energy, you know, you take a little shot of that pre-workout to give you some nice energy. It's not, you know, nothing hectic. You ain't going to be jittery. You know, it kick in good, it kick out good. You can get your rest. You know, you can still got your appetite, but it just give you that extra energy. And it's a great product, and we're going to do real good with it.
All right.
FuriousSports.com. As a matter of fact, that's the website to order the product. FuriousSports.com.
Right on, man. I think that's really important because, you know, you one of the few legends that's still left. You know, we just lost K. Slay. Shout out to K. Slay. You know?
Absolutely. Shout out to K. Slay.
So, talk about more well, let me ask you this. What do you think about the state of hip-hop at this point?
For me, it's just to put it real simple, it's past my time. I'm 61 years old. You know, my kids is in their 30s. I'm not even understanding what they doing. I'm past that. For me to understand what a 15-year-old is doing, I don't think nobody could ask me to understand that because I'm way far beyond that. You know, what a kid would do and what I would do in the same situation, two totally different things. And that's what I think the state of hip hop is young people doing what young people doing, and I just don't understand it. I'm 61 years old. I can't understand it.
I mean, the reality is, even when, you know, we was doing what we was doing, our own parents didn't understand what we was doing. So that's almost sometimes come off like a loaded question. You know what I mean? But the flip side about hip-hop right now, if you got your business right, you could definitely get out what you put in. You know what I mean? Versus in our era, whereas you can do all the work in the world and you still walk away with nothing. So on the business side, you know what I mean, it's a great time to be in it. But like Mel said, I'm like, you know, it ain't nothing against them, but, you know, we ain't supposed to understand them like that, you know what I mean? Every slang word, we don't supposed to hang on it. But overall, man, this is still part of an evolution of a hip-hop tree that we planted in the South Bronx. You know, and sometimes a lot of branches, you know, go different ways, you know what I mean? But, you know, it's still original seed, even though a lot of it could be, I don't even want to come off and say I wish they just wouldn't do so much wild shit up under the umbrella of hip hop. Right. But I mean, like you said, but what could you do? I mean, they in their own zone. They on their own drugs. They on their own. It's a whole different frequency.
Right. Well, see, I can understand where y'all coming from because y'all actually birthed hip hop. Y'all saw it
Right, and true hip hop, the all the elements of hip hop, the b-boys, the graffiti, the DJ, you know what I mean, the MC, now it seems like all the dancers got replaced with the little gangsters, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody dancing no more, ain't no graffiti involved now, it's hip hop as much as you want it to be hip hop. I know our hip hop was all music based. It was all culture. It came out of the era where they was gangbanging, and now I think it's more closer to where it was back then. Actually we went right back to where it all began. And I think the only saving grace is that the real entertainers and the real people that got love for the culture of hip hop is just going to have to double down and save most of these guys from their own selves, basically. You see what I'm saying? I'm not, I ain't never been, a violent type individual. I come in the party, there's a bunch of people in the room, we going to have a good time. I'm never treated the game no other way than that. I've never looked at somebody, especially somebody I don't know, cross. I'm just gonna, I'm there to do my job, and then we out. We on to the next one.
40-year anniversary of the message. Talk to us about creating that. Just what was the time like creating that song? It's an iconic song.
Well, 40 years ago when the message came out, the message and Planet Rock actually came out in the same year, but Planet Rock came out first. So the tempo of the music, it was actually more. It was, the electronic thing, what Zulu and them was doing. And when the message, when Miss Sylvia Robinson, may she rest in peace, came out with the idea, the message, it was something that nobody really understood except for her. But she was so transfixed in putting this record out. And when it finally came out, it was the game-changing record. It changed the trajectory of what hip-hop was, and it made Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, it set us apart from all the other groups because nobody, and even since, you had a couple of, good record that actually meant something, had something to say, but that was the one record that everybody, you had to take hip-hop serious after that record came out. So it put hip-hop on another level. It put the Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five on a whole nother level, and I think it changed a lot of people's thinking about what they really thought that hip hop was. Even myself, and even when I first listened to other guys do it other than us, the one thing that I would say about them was probably what people were saying about us, like, yo, what the hell is this guy talking about? You see what I'm saying? But the message showed you exactly what we were talking about. And that's the importance and the greatness of the message. And even after 40 years, the song is still just as relevant as when it first came out.
And then it's also incredible just to have like artists that came after us, like that just adapt to the music, like Ice Cube, you know what I mean? Right. He did Check Yourself. Right. You got Puff and Mace. They did, Can't Hold Me Down. And believe it or not, we about to go in the studio as we speak this week, and we about to do a whole nother version of the message with a high-powered rock and roller. I don't want to just say the name, but it's definitely going to be a real nice one, you know what I mean? So we really excited about that because, nothing for nothing. What you see on this couch is just two music guys. Guys that just love music, you know what I mean? If we could stay away from all of the other, the messy stuff and trying to divide the culture and you know what I mean? That ain't our thing. Our thing is music, you know what I mean? We just want to do music. That's what we was when we created this culture. It wasn't money-based for us. And it's still, trust me, we love money like the next person, you know what I mean? But that passion, that DNA of us just want to do music is definitely still in us. Some of you people might look at us and say, like, we old heads, we stupid, or whatever the case may be. But that's our passion, because if you're good and you do what your passion right, the money can always come. You know what I mean? And the reality is, we working, 40, it's going on 43 years later, off of stuff that we did about 40-something years ago. You know what I mean? So, still fun with it.
I think that's important because y'all are really still showing that you can still do it. You're still setting trailblazing because the Rolling Stones. We don't talk about the Rolling Stones or none of them being old. They can still tour.
Absolutely.
For some reason, we had the stigma that once you get to a certain place in hip hop, you got to stop.
Yeah. Well, well, see that's like here and there. Yes, it's true. That part of it is where they say, okay, you at a certain age, you need to stop. But you also got to have something to resonate with the people. You know what I mean? And we've been blessed enough to have a record like the Message. You understand what I'm saying? So go back to that because, just like, brothers that came out, you know what I mean, with the Tootsie Roll and, and all of the, Laffy Taffy and all of that. Those is great records, but they just records that's really just going to sit in a certain time period. Because, like 30 years from now, I doubt if, I don't know, but if I had to bet, I doubt records like that will have you touring all around the world. You could definitely always be a hometown hero, you know what I mean, in your hometown, but can you go to Switzerland, can you go to, Edinburgh, and, Glasgow, all around the world? So, like I said, we just blessed to have a record like the Message. So.
Yeah, and we're also blessed to be able to still do it on the highest level. See what I'm saying? Now, if it gets to the point in your career where you can't get it done, or if you ain't healthy enough, because being on that stage, it ain't like it's the easiest thing to do. The main reason why I keep working out right now, and I changed my workout to have the stamina to actually do a concert on a high level on stage. So if you can't do it, obviously you might as well pack it in. But if you could still do it, there's no reason why you shouldn't be out there performing for your people. And the main thing is, see, our thing is, are we good enough and we got the skill set enough to rock anybody's crowd? We could rock our crowd, of course, but we could rock anybody's crowd, white, black. It don't none of that matter to me. You know what I mean? Because we still we still love what we're doing, and we still could do it on the highest level.
You still box?
No. My boxing career was over a long time ago.
Talk more about how.
Down goes Grandmaster.
We're gonna go into detail.
No, I mean, hey, man, it's all good.
Talk more about how the people receive you on the road.
Well, the road is our living room. You understand what I'm saying? When we go on the road, it's always like playing, for people that, even though a lot of the people we just meeting for the first time, but being said, they grew up with our music and stuff like that, you feel like they know us and we feel like we know them, you know what I mean? Because most of the time, no matter where it's at, anywhere on the planet, they all have a story about the first time they heard us or you know what I mean, or seeing our group on TV. They all have these stories, so, it's the most comfortable place for me to be, you know what I mean? I could be around a lot of people, and to be honest, even like, when I hang out with my family, I love all my family to death, like most people, most men, but I'm so comfortable on stage, any stage, you know what I mean? Big stage, small stage. That's like my real home, because that's where I spent my most time in my life, you know what I mean? From starting in the park, being on the mic, being in front of people, to what we're doing now, you know what I mean? We done went playing the other day a huge festival, and right now with tonight we're gonna play something very, intimate. So we all over the place, but that's our house.
Yeah, no, and I think, like you see, I mean, we've been doing this so long. Like, you can come into town or go in the city, and people come. Everybody got a story to tell when they meet you before they take their picture. And some of the people, yeah, man, I seen y'all, man, in 1970. Woo woo. Some people bring their kids and their grandkids. And that's why our show is like, we don't curse. We don't do nothing that you got to explain to a person what he's doing. Cause see, that's my hip hop. If somebody got to explain to a kid what it is that you're doing on stage, you might be doing it wrong. Because this kid just want to see, he just want to see how you perform. I don't know, you know what I mean? Maybe kids might expect something different now because they see a certain amount of, repetitious things over and over. But the original concept of, somebody going to a show is to see, how this person performs. And you want to do it so that nobody has to explain nothing. It's just is what you seen him do. That's what he do. That's what he was doing when I was young. And obviously he's still good at it.
What's y'all's practice regimen like? Or do y'all even have to? Y'all, this comes second nature at this point, huh?
Nah, at this point, it's just a phone call, just to talk in the dressing room, what we gonna keep in and what we gonna take out. You know what I mean? We, like you said, we've been doing it, you know what I mean, so long that it's not, you know, now obviously, like sometime when we play with bands and stuff like that, it's a little bit more, you know what I mean? Because now you're dealing with a whole different corporation of people, you know what I mean? But as far as with me and Mel, it's like, yo, talk to the DJ, yo, do this, do that, and it's done. And it's not like, you know, like I said, it's on the highest level. We'll do that same thing that we'd do in a regular little club, we'd do in front of 80,000 people, and it's the same way. But once you're there, it's like, the stage is so familiar with us. Right. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's like almost like looking at your mother's face or something. It's like, it's just that familiar, you know, so.
Talk about Texas. When the last time y'all been to Texas?
Ooh, we haven't been to Texas in a minute. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. 10 years?
Yeah,
10 years,
been that long?
like
the last time I was in Texas, I was here, but it wasn't for a concert. We was just out like taking care of some business, but we just happened to be in San Antonio, and I was here.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's y'all history like being in San Antonio? Y'all have any memorable moments here?
Well, I mean, the most that we came through San Antonio, that was probably with the original group, Grandmaster Flash, Furious 5. And now, obviously, we came back every once in a while. I think we did some freestyle shows, because, you know, they big on the freestyle stuff out here.
Right.
But I just can't, like, pinpoint it. You know, it's nothing but love, man, you know.
I don't know. You got any more?
Any more? All right.
Are y'all familiar with verses?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's old is new. Can y'all talk about the verses back in the day opposed to now? Because crews used to battle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far.
Hold on, let him ask me.
Okay.
What was the question again?
Verses.
What's old is new.
Right.
How did they do verses back in their time?
Right. So, you know, we got verses. That's it's an old but new format. Talk about how y'all used to do verses back in the day.
Well, a battle back in the day was more just based on, you know, what you're going to do on stage. There was no real venom involved. You know what I mean? It was I think we was more competitive then, but not venomous. It's like, what I want to do to you, I want to do it on stage. So you get on stage, and then whatever happened after that, nobody was tough guys, you know what I mean? And we didn't speak afterwards, but it wasn't like we had it out for each other. So now, when you go fast forward it to all these years later, all of us that survived back then, we all the best of friends, because we done went through all that. And there was no venom involved. Nobody said nothing that was so reckless that it carried on throughout the years. Like, you know what I mean? And anything that we did back then, we could actually joke about it now. To whereas now it's like, you know, it's not, you know, in my opinion, it's not a professional. It's not a professional contest. It's more like they personalize it a little bit, and so at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know if they shook hands or whatever. I mean, I've never watched the verses. I've never watched it, but that, you know, for the gist of, like, I'll listen to what people got to say about it, you know, and that's basically my take on it.
Well, you know, I watch all of the verses. I mean, I think it was one of the biggest platforms that came out during the pandemic. You know what I mean? It was like Swiss with Tim's with the verses, and you had, you know, our brother from the Bronx, D Nice. You know, some people did some great things when it was really necessary. And like it go back to what I said, when you do it for love, the money will come. Because D Nice was doing it just for the love of people being bored at home. So he made a platform. Swiss and Tim is the exact same thing. Now it's definitely there's a lot of money involved and different things like that. It's changed, okay? And this what I think too as well. I think all of that is good. It's just at some point, you know, we ourselves, you know what I mean? Because just like if we performing and times is changing a little, see, we never really had good management or stuff like that. To you know what I mean, yo brother, yo, you know, this, that, navigate whatever. 'Cause for 9 out of 10, even though we was with a record label and we had a management with the record label, we was basically doing it ourselves. And sometimes if you don't have somebody, tapping your shoulder or whatever the case may be, that's what it is. I just think that they resonate. And people, it was easy for people to do that too. Like I said, our stuff costs a lot of money. So, big shout out to Run TMC and all that.
So thank you guys, man. Thank you guys for taking the time to sit down with us. We looking forward to the show tonight.
Yeah.
And we appreciate y'all coming back to San Antonio.
Yeah. And remember, y'all hit that website, periodsports.com. First Hip Hop All-Purpose Pre-Workout, brought to you by the one and only Scorpio and the Legend King himself, the Legend King Grandmaster Melle Mel.
Peace, Sean.
That's a wrap.
All right.